Is the oyster farm.
So
See, I looked at the website this afternoon, thinking, oh, they must have done some stuff. Here's what it's got a vacant and it's got Robert as Tyler as first alternate, Brittany as second alternate, so. Well, welcome to the committee.
That's what I was told.
Excellent. Well, that's just great. So we have more than a quorum tonight. Not a ton of things on the agenda. That's good. All right, our next item on the agenda then is the Harbor Masters report.
All right, well, so we've had a busy month. We transitioned the first week of May to an online platform for mooring renewal. It's been very successful. We're gonna give everybody till the March 1st. It was March 3rd. We turned it on. We're going to give everybody through the month of April to get their moorings squared away because we transitioned. We had some hiccups. Usually it has to be done. It's usually has to be done by April 1st, but we've decided with town staff to give them another month. There were some people that didn't get the email and we're working out through some hiccups. So that's been super successful. We're gonna look at the field. Tim and I are gonna look at the field and hopefully by the end of May, beginning of June, to see what we can put in for some more moorings. We've emailed out to all the waitlist folks to give a specific location of where they want to be. Because there's the ability to put some moorings in some spots that don't necessarily have to be waitlisted. So there's a few spots at Clay Pits, there's a few spots at Winnick's Neck. There's a few spots, around, so if people want those, that's why I've emailed everybody on the wait list and said, hey, if you paid your fee, please send me what you can. So we can potentially get some people off the wait list. I mean, we've had like 30, 38, 39 people on the wait list at this point.
When you'll be able to get some off, that's good.
We're hoping.
Wow.
So, we're getting ready we're gonna be turning, the docks went in this week. Yesterday they put most of them in, they were gonna finish them today. The water's getting turned on, probably not for 2 more weeks, probably the last week of April because it still gets cold at night. So probably the week of April 28th or so, the water will get turned on. Other than that, we've applied for a bunch of grants that we're still pending. But yeah, we're firing things up and getting ready to go here for the season.
Excellent.
So hopefully by first week of May, we'll be off and running.
And is that typical previous years? First of May?
Well, the last few years, the docks haven't been going in until May 15th. Water has been turned on at the same time, and I'm just trying to forge us ahead so that we're ready to go sooner than rather than later.
How about maintenance stuff? Anything that died over the winter or anything we have to look at?
No, we've got some, we're gonna resurface the parking lot, the gravel lot again.
Uh-huh.
Public Works is gonna do that. I've already talked to the Public Works Director about doing some sealing and relining of the parking lot.
Oh, so we are gonna do
That's hopefully, I'm trying to make sure that the islands go on to the landscape contract for the town so that they don't look like, like a wild jungle after, a few months down there. So we are doing that. We instituted we now have a lockbox down there that has the key to the dumpster. And the fishermen, if they want their own code, that way I can tell where the key ends up. They can get their own code so that we don't have trash around the dumpster. It goes into the dumpster, it keeps it locked.
Has it
So
always been locked? I didn't know we
it's
had.
always locked.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We leave ours up. Vinny leaves his unlocked. We leave ours locked. And they still put the trash outside the dumpster.
That's
I
what I
moved
thought.
stuff yesterday, so.
Yeah.
The porta potty will probably stay there. I think they were servicing it today. That will stay there until we get the bathrooms back up. And then that, obviously, when we turn the water off end of October, the porta potty will come back. As well. That's all I have.
Good. We have river dredging discussion once again for new business, so we can wait till we get to that. Give you a chance to.
Okay.
Are there questions for the harbor master?
For the grants you're waiting for specific items?
No, yeah, we put one in for an electronic sonar device for search and rescue. I put one in for that. We put in, I put one into Prouts Neck Association for some no wake buoys. That just went in yesterday. I think there's one or two other outstanding that are just, we're kind of waiting for, I know it's float replacement. So we're on the list for spring of 26 to replace the floats built at Pine Point and Ferry Beach. So that was that's already been approved. That's just a matter of building them now. So,
reason they don't paint those every year?
I think they did at one point, the ones down there, and they're in pretty rough shape. But
I was looking at them.
yeah, they're in rough shape and we may try to do something. It's a lot easier to paint them out of the water, but Public Works wanted to get them in, like they have a lot of projects on the hook. So we may end up just letting them go if we're gonna get rid of them next year after the season. And then the other one thing too about, I'm trying to get some commercial rated rub rail. And Public Works is gonna put that on the front face floats so that, it's notorious, we put it on, it gets ripped off, but we're gonna try to get some of that squared away too.
Good stuff. For the newer members of the committee, this finding money from all these different sources is truly hard work. And Darren's done really, really well at sniffing these things out, which I still don't know how you do it. So there's state money, there's federal money, there's Corps of Engineers money, there's money, just little pockets of money everywhere. At least there used to be, maybe not anymore. But he's done a great job of doing that, because I think that's a real important consideration for us. Because we have all these expenses that can pile up at some point. We don't want to have to go to the council every time we have an expense on something. So if he can find some money someplace to keep us in front of things, it's as good as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, we were awarded the $93,000 grant for coastal water resiliency. I applied for it in June, I found out in August. The problem is we have to match that. We can't use another state grant to match it. It's super, because it's state money. So we may bring that up to council at some point next year. If we can match that with another 92 grand, we can replace all the floats on the commercial pier.
So it's stipulation that we can only use it on certain things then?
Yeah, that's what it was for. It was earmarked for that,
Okay.
because we sustained a bunch of damage during the January storm,
Oh, all right. So it's a storm thing.
so.
So could,
That float replacement was early 2026.
I'm hoping it's gonna be like April, May 2026, yes.
good stuff. Anything else? Any other questions for the harbor master? Right, moving right along, council liaison report. I was gonna ask Scott how things were going with coming up with a new member, but that's already taken care of itself, so. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure what's going on. I think the council's just started the budget process. So they're, which is always simple process. So I think they'll be kind of busy for the next few weeks on that.
Aren't they short? 1, 2? Didn't we
They
lose a
are,
council
yeah.
member?
Don Cushing just resigned the last council meeting.
Yeah.
So apparently they only need 25 names on a petition if you want to run. Everyone step up. Looking for volunteers. All right.
Full of that job.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, depending on how you approach the job. It's a full-time. Anyway, all right, so moving right along to old business, we have no old business, new business. We have the town council liaison on here, which I think we talked about. He's not here. The other thing on that was listed for new business, which we may have already covered it, it's just stuck on here as new business, is discuss the river dredging issue. And we should also talk about kayak racks. So if you don't have anything new to add about dredging, I know you've been trying to.
We had a meeting on last Thursday with people from FEMA and Maine Emergency Management and the town engineer and the fire chief, who's also the EMA director. They have to file an extension. And I just talked to the town manager just now. They're meeting with him tomorrow. They're gonna get some extension filed for this FEMA grant from the storm damage. And then potentially we have to have a conversation with York County reference to beach replenishment, and maybe the sand will come out of Scarborough. I was also on the state Zoom meeting for the state dredge Zoom meeting, which is a biannual. They have it like in the spring and in the fall. I was on that on Monday, and potentially when they do the Saco project with the new jetty, the beach replenishment there, they might be taking the sand out of Scarborough because it would be a close steam. So I'm working on it with the Army Corps of Engineers on that. I mean, it's bad at low tide. I mean, these guys are trying to time it, but when they come in at low tide, and some of these boats can't even get in, and we're literally like 2 weeks or 3 weeks past the year of it. We already have like 192,000 cubic yards moved. So that's kind of scary.
So the jetty thing, is that gonna start this summer then? What's going on?
I think it's gonna start in, it's due to start like in the next year or two.
That's some monstrous project.
It's $45 million.
I was gonna say $40 million.
Yeah, it's a two-phase project. I think it's like 25 million on one or 27 million and then another like, you know, whatever.
What are they gonna do? Are they gonna take the long jetty out and put something else
No,
in?
they're leaving the existing jetty that comes out. They're gonna build a jetty 90 degrees off of it, like
Yeah,
headed towards Pine Point to keep the sand from eroding in there.
okay. Yeah, it's quite a process, the way they design those things. Guess they're smarter than they used to be.
Isn't it next Tuesday? If that meeting is about floodwaters,
I think you're right. It is maybe next Tuesday about, yeah,
well, I just thought as a committee, we should think about it too, because if that is Payne Road and Route 1,
Mhm.
that's actually gonna impact the marsh. Impact you. Because the way they anticipate floodwaters on the road, what's gonna change the flow of water.
So what's this
In and
meeting?
out.
Yeah, what's the meeting that's coming up?
I was hoping to have Daryl.
let me, I'm trying to look.
I thought I sent it to him, and then I'm looking at my calendar, you didn't do that for Zoom, so. This is. Town is doing these feasibility studies
Mhm.
for what to do with the rising water,
Yeah,
and basically. High Point. Probably headed, gonna look more like Nantucket, you know, as it washed away. And, the $2 million house goes for sale for 20,000. That's gonna have an impact on the
Yeah.
marsh, it's gonna have an impact on the waterway, it's gonna have an impact on the sand and dredging and
Mhm.
right on down the line.
Are they gonna there's a town council meeting next Wednesday night. There's budget meetings Monday and Tuesday.
I'll ask.
so this is a town meeting that we're having, it's not a state thing or? Yeah, it's right now.
No, hey, you gotta get it, wake her up. But she's on the feasibility from Pine Point, there's people from Higgins, there's people from. You know, and there's a lot of what has to happen on it. From my way of looking at it, Old Orchard doesn't seem to be joining in on it, and when you flood Pine Point. The first place to flood is the Clinic. So the only other way out of there is Old Orchard.
Mhm.
Well, that January storm, we had water coming over in the Orchard, we had water coming over, obviously the plant, they cannot hold that. Nature Center there,
Mhm.
Audubon, and there is no way out of Pine Point. Now they're talking about putting an early warning system in, which is nice, but is it gonna come from? Is Old Orchard gonna be tied into it?
Yeah, it seems like it's more than Pine Point.
It's a Pine Point problem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it on the town calendar, even into May.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys figure something out, maybe you can just send an email.
We'll figure out when the meeting is and I'll email the committee.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Anything else on dredging? What a great topic.
No, we're just know that we're working on
Yeah,
it. We're working
okay.
on it.
So you said, we need to talk about kayak racks.
Yeah, I got an email from Nick, the new community services director. And it seems that there's a high demand to get some more kayak racks. We added one at Pine Point last year, maybe 2 years ago, so there's two down there. And I told Nick I don't really have the room or the parking access to put another one there. We have enough of a parking problem down there. So he was looking at definitely putting some at Clay Pits. And maybe again at Ferry Beach. I think so. He just wanted to bring it to the committee, see if there was any pros, cons, issues, make it and have the committee kind of kick it around. And then I would report back to him what the committee decided, like, if the committee's okay with us exploring Clay Pits and Ferry Beach. I basically told him, I said, I don't think the committee's in a position to say, yeah, put them at Pine Point. There's just not enough. We have enough issues down there with parking as it is in the commercial lot. And they're not taking up a lot of room in the commercial lot, but they're taking up one or two parking spots.
Mhm.
But most of the time, you know, that parking lot is very, it's used, you know, very heavily in the morning. And then as the fishermen come in, then it's not really used as much, so. But yeah, he just wanted to bring it to the committee and see what you guys thought.
So are they looking for a recommendation from us then, or?
They're just looking like to make sure that this committee, the Coastal Waters
Just that we're in
Committee
the loop.
is we're in the loop and that we're okay with it.
Okay, so I don't know if we need to actually do anything then, until we hear what they want to do.
And that's what they're looking at is trying to place more kayak racks, because they rent those spots out for the season.
Yeah.
So they rent the spot out for the season. So if you have a kayak, let's say, you know, you don't live down here, you live wherever on the other side of the turnpike, and you have a kayak, you can, I think they do it by lottery is how they do it, but you can get a rack, you
Mhm.
put it on the rack, you lock it, your number's there, whatever number it is, and then you go down and put your kayak in the water. So I feel like there's no real issue at Clay Pits. There's no real issue at Ferry Beach.
Yeah,
Parking's an issue at Ferry Beach, but I mean, these people, a lot of these people aren't using them on every single day, or maybe they're using them during the week, or they're, you know, so they can gauge when they can use it, but I think that, you know, those two locations are good locations for them. There's really no, I told, you know, when I talked to Nick, that there's really no room at Winnick's Neck. There's not a lot of
yeah, it's
parking.
kind of tight anyway.
Stevie's Landing, there's not a lot of, it's tight down there too, so. Just trying to put them in a place where there's actually public access, public parking, and
Which Ferry Beach probably has the most room, doesn't it? What do you think?
yeah, there's some room down there. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, there's room to put one down there, you know, maybe two down there. Definitely there's room at Clay Pits to put, you know, an additional one there too as well.
Remind me what Nick's last name is, please.
It's Cliche. And he's the community services director.
So it sounds like we don't really need to do anything as a committee tonight, but you can just kind of,
No, I mean, he just basically said he'd like to just look to increase with one in Clay Pits and,
yeah.
you know, and move.
But I would think as the harbor master, you can just give your recommendation that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
the room at Pine Point,
Right, and
that
there,
seems like the real
Right, and
potential issue.
I think that it's reasonable to put one more at Clay Pits. Or,
Yeah.
you know, and let them do it. I don't think there's really, the committee doesn't have to really vote on it, just more of a, you know,
Okay,
so
heads up.
That has some of the Audubon too.
those are town owned.
Oh,
Those are all Audubon owned.
Yeah, that's their own
That's their own, that's all their own stuff.
stuff.
As a committee, can we support the harbor masters?
Recommendation.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
We want to do a motion or something, or, I don't know.
We're not doing everything.
I don't think we need to do a motion or anything like that. Maybe just in the minutes you can reflect that the committee supports the harbor master on this.
I
yeah,
would
it's 4:15 there,
What's that?
meeting,
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah,
reimagining Route 1.
That's the-
4:15
That's the title of the meeting.
at 5:30 to 7:30.
5:30 to 7:30.
Greater Portland Council of Governments. Where's it gonna be at, Vinnie? Do you know?
Paste, there it goes to, headed right to you there.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's what she, that's the same thing she sent me. I was just trying to figure out.
Well, I mean, the reason I brought that up is because as our committee, that is gonna have. They put a 5, you know, 5 big culverts right there, that's gonna change the flow of that river. With the drains. It'll change the.
It-
you know,
It's Tuesday, April 15th at 5:30 here.
Put them on Route 1.
yeah, the
Here,
drains
you mean-
one.
What's that?
Scarborough Town. Hall.
Right, it says reimagining Route 1 meeting. It's on Tuesday, April 15th from 5:30 to 7:30 at Town Hall.
Oh, it's the same, right, tide turns. You know, 10-foot tide.
It's gonna be quite a process for them to finally get something done. There's gonna be a lot of factions with their opinions on this.
Who is who's on that committee? Like, what's that comprised of, just representative?
Well, it was, yeah, the town did a feasibility study. And my wife's on it, she came out of Pine Point, and there's a couple of people from Higgins and different people around town, because that's something that's gonna impact the entire town. Because basically, by the 2100, it looks like I'm on an island. On every high tide,
Yeah,
not just a storm, every high tide.
yeah, so Scarborough does have a voice on the group, like the town is represented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't there talk of raising Route 1 by 4 feet or something?
So that's still, yeah, that's
That's,
a lot of that.
this is gonna be discussed, I think.
Should sail right through.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Wow, well, that's gonna be interesting.
I mean, if you put more water up in that basin, if you open the culvert up, that lets water up, it's all gonna go back out every time.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, I guess it must be pretty well controlled now, just based on the structure.
Right.
If they open it up, you're right, it's gonna be.
And some of that marsh is gonna, quote unquote, disappear, because
Yeah.
it's not gonna be. It'll be seabed at that point.
More moorings.
More
That's right. This man's gotta go
See,
somewhere
that's the
too.
good news, we're gonna have a lot more moorings available, and we won't need as much dredging, because it's gonna be another 4 feet of water.
Yeah.
It's all good. We need a channel.
I just put a time and date and location and a link to their website and the minutes.
Perfect.
They should be.
That's good. Any additional new business we need to talk about? These are kind of quiet. We're in the off season. Theoretically, we meet every other month, but just depends on what's going on. Right now, we have a ton of stuff going on.
Was that river dredging discussion in new or old business?
It was in new business, but we've talked about it a couple of times.
It's just leave it on perpetual.
Yeah.
It's like, it'd be like party.
Perpetual parking, perpetual.
That's right. If we're not going to talk about parking, we have to talk about dredging. Those things we have to talk. Some items on the agenda. Make it work.
So Darren, is it always gonna stay with the police department running one place and the community service running?
I don't know. It's, I'm gonna hopefully meet with Nick, like Steve Kramer and I talk a lot, about trash and porta potties and, dumpsters, like. They take care of the dumpster, they take care of the porta potties, they take care of the trash. We take care of the parking, we take care of the stickers, we take care of the boat launch. So. I have a feeling it'll probably stay the way it is because. They deal with all the parking at Higgins Beach and they deal with all the parking at Herd Park and the overflow, and then we just deal. With this one, like the kids that work the boat ramp or the people that work the boat ramp. They also walk around the right parking tickets. They're basically technically they're police department employees. Cause that falls under us. So. But he and I'm just letting him get his feet under him because he just started a few, weeks ago. So I'll sit down and have a chat with him at some point.
There's a little bit going on in the world of community services.
It's a busy place.
All right, any other discussion? If not, we set next agenda. Which I don't think we have any.
River dredging. Put that on.
Semi-related. but
You can
we
move
know
that to
about
old
what-
business, it's not exactly new.
I'm not trying,
You're not,
I'm not trying, no.
no. I know Glidden. Like
And why don't you throw on there also paid parking update? So I'm trying to track Tom Hall down, just see what's going on, because there was some talk when talked about this last time, when community services was talking about the beach passes, there was some discussion about parking and parking lots and passport parking and that kind of a thing. I've got the impression that town staff was going to look into technology or something. I just want to make sure that something's happening. So we've got a little bit of opening here to do something for next year, but just like happened last year, all of a sudden the time is gone and it's too late to do so.
Well, we
It was a
ran
big-
stuff up to the town council.
We did, and they
never-
just didn't do it.
It was discussion at the last.
I don't think it went anywhere, did it?
Yeah,
Like a big.
it's a pretty hot topic. It is. So so if you could put that down for old business, just. Parking process update, call it. That'll, maybe that'll bring out the public comment. So we used to always get the fans show.
That's what it is. You just want more people.
That's right. We'll be on the news. Big to-do at Coastal Waters and Harbor meeting.
Well, none of those services that we provide are gonna go down.
True. That's true.
That's a given.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The restrooms are 7 days a week, the trash is 7 days a week.
Yeah,
You know, I don't think people realize it, you know, on Sunday morning, the guy's down there pulling the trash.
there's a lot going on. Yeah, that's for sure. All right, anything else anyone has? No, I think we can adjourn the meeting in record time. That's good.
Need a motion for me? I'm good at these.
All right, we have a motion. Second?
Second,
I don't know what happens if we decide we're not going to go. We'll just keep talking. All those in favor? Another unanimous decision.